Mm, yeah, yeah, that's fucking nice. Yeah. I didn't see you there. I was just admiring my big, beautiful arms when you creeped on in here. But now that you're here, I wanted to talk about science-based lifting versus like just bro lifting or unga bunga lifting, whatever you want to call it. Caveman lifting, basically the standard gym stuff that you do without more of the science stuff. So, I I do enjoy science. I think that there is certainly merit to science. It provides evidence and, crucial knowledge to help transform and shape the way we do things over time. Now, I do think when it comes to the gym, it can create a couple problems. The biggest one, I think, number one, is that especially when you're new to the gym, it already can be pretty tough to get you to get into the gym and start working out. And there's a lot of perfectionist people out there. What happens is that they go the science route and they try to find the most optimal exercises that they should be doing, or like the most optimal best workout plan, and they're aggregating all of this best information, right? That information is changing pretty frequently. Just look at the amount of people that make videos online about different, or the latest and greatest optimal exercise. So that shit's always changing. Working out when you're new is already overwhelming. Trying to handcraft this cocktail of optimal exercises into the perfect workout plan sounds great in theory, but really it's just mental masturbation, and you're not really putting in the work. Again, I've said this before, the plan that you're on does not matter if you're not going to do the work. So above all else, you need to be in the gym doing something. So I think that in the beginning, you don't really need to worry about what's best or what's optimal. Now, should you train with good form? Yes, totally. And take the time to learn that form and technique. But you don't have to dabble in these exercises, these super optimal exercises, because oftentimes a lot of them require, I hate exercises that require several different pieces of equipment to pull off. At a certain point, it's no longer practical or convenient to do that exercise, and I'm not going to waste my time going on a fucking scavenger hunt just so I can do some type of curl variation. I'm not going to do that. So I'd say if you're in the beginning, do less of the science and more of the lifting component. Secondly, when it comes to science and the most optimal exercises to do, like I said, that information is changing pretty frequently. What you're going to find is that if you go down this pure science route, you are going to constantly be changing your plan. And because you're constantly changing your plan and your exercises, you're not developing, there's no sort of consistency there, and you're not going to develop your muscles as well than if you were to just stick with some basic exercises and build from there, right? And at some point, branch out. But again, in the context of being a beginner, it's less important that you have, the perfect exercise, and it's more important that you're in there just lifting the weight. And I know this is kind of sounding repetitive, but honestly, that is a surefire way to get results of some sort, is for you to be in there lifting the weight. I think that a good approach for the gym, be science informed, but I wouldn't base everything you do on what the science says. Take personal experience into account. If you're doing an exercise and it feels really fucking good, you get a killer pump from it, and it just wow. After that exercise, man, I'm spent, I feel worked. I love this exercise. You don't need to change that just because there's an exercise that may be a little better. There's also the concept of diminishing returns. So you can keep making these changes and optimal adjustments, but at a certain point, the benefit after each adjustment is going to go down each time. So what that means is maybe one adjustment you do really helps. Okay, great. Then you do another one. Okay, that helps, but it only helps a little bit. And the next one, it helps, but in the grand scheme of things, you got the biggest increase from that one thing that you did, right? Everything else can be kind of negligible, right? And chances are, if you're watching this, you're not a top level competitive bodybuilder. Because you are not that, you don't need to have training that is for somebody like that. And in fact, I'd argue that jumping into an intense training that someone at that level would be doing is probably going to overload you too much, and you either wind up hurting yourself, getting too sore, or you would just be unable to keep up with that pace over an extended period. Not saying you couldn't work up to it, but you're just not at that level. So when starting out, again, best thing to do, just get in there and do something. Do some basic curls, tricep extensions. You could do, leg extensions, hamstring curls, squat, deadlift, bench, if you know how to do those things. If not, you could do a chest press. There's so many machines that you could use to where you really don't need to touch any complex compound lift if you didn't want to. Now, should you? Yeah, you should. But it's not totally 100% necessary to do so. Lastly, well, I guess I shouldn't say lastly. Mainly, it's going to be the last one for this video. I want to keep this one kind of shorter. But I think you should just have fun with it. And if you have fun looking up studies and doing all these optimal exercises, and if that's working for you, then you know what? Do the damn thing. That could be your thing, right? But if you find yourself in a position where man, it's just kind of hard to keep up with, you don't know what exercise you should be doing because you're hearing about this thing, that thing, and the other thing, and you don't know which one is best, and if you're stressing out over that shit, dude, just fucking chill and stick to the basics, man. You'll be totally okay if you stick with the basics. I think that now, with the amount of content out there online about the optimal workouts and best plans, and then with these influencers being fake natties and shit like that, and I don't know, credibility is being lost. Okay, I think in the industry as a whole, I think more people will gravitate more towards just doing shit in the gym, just fucking moving the goddamn weight, not overcomplicating it, just fucking getting in there, taking some circles, lifting them up, putting them back down, grabbing a bar, pushing it up, pushing it down, whatever. But the basics are all you need. My exercises or my workouts that I do, they're not overly complex. I do a lot of the same shit over and over again. I'll switch it up here and there, and I might even do some different exercises, on one push day compared to the next. They're not going to be exact copies, but I've also spent time in the gym where I've got more experience. So my body has gotten used to these exercises. Therefore, I need to introduce some variance to keep gaining a benefit, right? So at a certain point, do you want to look towards science, and do you want to look towards expanding your workout arsenal to include exercises maybe you might not have thought of, or that might stretch your muscles a little bit more, or might be bit more optimal? Yes. But to get the vast majority of results, again, mind you, all of the old school bodybuilders that you admire or look up to or like their physique, a lot of that shit happened before any of the science stuff really came out or was in everybody's face, right? Was everything they did super great? No, but they figured out the shit that was working and they did those things. So if they at that state were able to figure out the gym and become Mr. Olympia, maybe you can fucking too. So that's it. I hope this video is somewhat entertaining or that you got something from it. If not, that's okay. We'll try again next time. It is what it is. If you like this video, leave a like, comment, tell me to go fuck myself, whatever you want to do. I'm here for it. Subscribe. Remember to stay beautiful and that you are loved. And I will see you next time, my friend.